everyone, and welcome to the main event, Figure Federation. It's another Monday Night War. I am your first host, the leader of the Jakk'd brand, Troy, and with me, as always, is a leader of the Overdrive brand, Greg. What's up, Greg?
What up?
You know, I'm back in my comfort spot behind a microphone doing this, a place that unfamiliar to Tony Khan's comfort zone.
Good God. Oh, man.
If anybody happened to see his commercial on Impact, boy, that was, is brutal the right word?
Yeah, that might work.
I mean, look, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, well, I would have, just been like at home right there on camera with Tony Schiavone talking on national TV. But for God's sake, like, I have a sneaking suspicion that somebody's not telling him, hey, you're not good.
Yeah, I can think of a few.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, the Young Bucks have already come out and said this plan has been in the works for years. They've been talking to Tony Khan about it. So, I mean, trust the Bucks, man, because, I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway.
This isn't real, right? You guys are just screwing with us.
Well, nobody cares about AEW Nobody cares about AEW versus Impact. They care about Jakk'd versus Overdrive. It's the Monday Night Wars. We are 2 weeks away from our second pay-per-views, Indestructible for Overdrive and Winter Jam for Jakk'd. We are marching away, and next or one more episode next week, and then not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday will be the pay-per-views. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to be super over the top excitable today. Like sometimes I get on the show. I've been feeling a little under the weather for the last couple of weeks. I'm not like deathly ill, but I'm trying to keep the death illness away. So
COVID.
Yeah, I am negative for COVID, so that's a good thing. Anybody that that knows this time of year, especially in Ohio, it is not a good time for sinuses, flu, anything else. I think Greg's a little under the weather as well.
Getting there.
Yeah, so
trying to kill it.
We're trying to get over the weather, not under it. We'll try to figure that out on the next episode. But hopefully we sound better next time. But this time we're still going to bring you all the action that we possibly can. Are you ready to start us off this week, Greg?
I think.
All right. Well, we'll hit the ring bell. We're going to play some commercials. And on the other side of that break, it's Overdrive.
All right. Welcome to Overdrive. 2 weeks away from the pay-per-view. Tonight we have a tag team showcase and more. Segment 1. All right, Baron Corbin enters the ring. He's holding the United States Championship. He says, last week I was out and about and look what I found. He holds up the United States title and says that since Ciampa will now probably be unable to defend, he's declaring himself champion. Says he has decided he's taking the next 29 days off. And since he was only able to defend the title once, defend the title once a month. All of a sudden, Finn Balor's music hits. And he says that Corbin is so horrible, the only way he can get a title is to physically steal the belt. Corbin says, look, I'm not an unfair man. I know you were next in line, so in January, I will be more than happy to give you your shit. And then Tommaso Ciampa enters. He says Balor can wait because he has bigger issues. He tells Corbin that come hell or high water, he is getting his title back tonight. He rushes the ring, but Corbin runs through the crowd. Segment 2. reDRagon is out. Their opponents. The Hardy Boys. All right. Lots of back and forth action as Jeff and O'Reilly are brawling. Fish blind tags O'Reilly and isolates Jeff in the corner. Jeff catches a drop kick, stuns Fish. Both men are down. Jeff slowly crawls to Matt, who gets the hot tag. Matt starts unloading on both men. Hits a surprise twist of fate on Fish for a 2 count. Jeff's still recovering in the corner, suddenly pulled off by Ivar and Eric pulls off O'Reilly. Referee calls for the bell. Viking Raiders then start beating all 4 men mercifully. Then the Viking Raiders hit the Viking Experience on Fish and O'Reilly, making a statement ahead of their match at Indestructible. Segment 3. Elias makes his way to the ring. He tells Shelton that last week he came so close, yet he was so far from a win. Elias reveals they will have a rematch with Shelton at Indestructible, and on that night, he will perform the greatest set of songs he's ever had at the after party. Elias's opponent makes his way to the ring. As we head to commercial break. All right. Segment 4. Back from commercial, Gargano's working on Elias. Elias hits a big boot and turns Gargano inside out. Gargano manages to kick out at 2, though. Elias gets a little too anxious, goes for a drift away. Gargano turns into a small package. Instead of holding on for the count, Gargano hits a Shining Wizard, gets only a 2. Elias gets up, pretty wobbly. Gargano runs in for double knees, but Elias hits a spinning clothesline. He picks up Gargano for a drift away for the win. Elias leaves, and we see a Hurricane logo on Gargano from a spotlight. Gargano looks confused as we head to commercial break. All right, segment 5. All right, Cesaro enters his opponent. Cedric Alexander. Very quick match. Cesaro dominates. Cedric attempts to come back. He hits Hurricane Rana, flooring Cesaro. Cedric goes to the top, but Cesaro gets up, hits Cedric's legs. He straddles the top rope. Cesaro attempts a superplex. Cedric pushes him off the ropes and does a flying move, but Cesaro catches him with swift death, followed by the neutralizer for the win. Segment 6. We see Baron Corbin in the back, weary of Tommaso Ciampa. He's approached for an interview. He throws the camera to the floor for giving away his position. All of a sudden, we hear yelling, and we see Ciampa being held back by security. Corbin is yelling, "Unsafe working environment," demands Ciampa be removed from the building. Corbin is then shoved into security by Ricochet. Ciampa has his hands on the title, but Corbin rakes his eyes and manages to escape. We cut to the announce table. Corey tells us that tonight, Tommaso Ciampa, Finn Balor will face Baron Corbin and a partner of his choosing in the main event. All right, segment 7. The Usos versus the Lucha House Party. Lots of high-flying moves from Lucha House Party, but the Usos find the groove, take over the match. Jimmy hits a super kick on Grand Metalik. He dodges a Lindsay attack, sending them both to the outside. Both Usos line up, hit a big diving attack to the outside. They roll Lindsay back in the ring, hit a Samoan drop, and a big splash for the win. Right, segment 8. All right, Matt Riddle is in the ring. He says that tonight he's excited because he's about to make his first ever Australian bro. Right, Murphy enters the ring. Riddle tries to shake his hand, but Murphy slaps Riddle's arm away. The match begins. Riddle hits a big flying knee, but Murphy bounces off the ropes. Back into Riddle with a knee. Riddle then hits a step-up enziguri for the 2. Murphy recovers, hits a lifting knee attack for 2. He picks up Riddle, goes for Murphy's Law, but Riddle hits a knee to the face mid-move, flooring Murphy. He then goes to the top rope, hits the Flying Bro for the win. All right, segment 9. All right, the Street Profits are out to the ring. They say they're on Overdrive and they want the smoke, but it's a little tough to get when nobody wants to face them. The Viking Raiders make their second appearance of the night, blindsiding and destroying the Profits. They hit the Viking Experience on both men. reDRagon runs down, chases the Raiders off with chairs. They proceed to check on the Street Profits. Kyle O'Reilly gets on the mic and says that in Indestructible they have a match, but next week reDRagon wants a fights. Segment 10. All right, Tommaso Ciampa makes his way out, followed by Finn Balor. All right. They look very uneasy having a tag, but they've decided to put their differences aside for the night to face their opponents. Out next. All right, Baron Corbin makes his way out. He says, I've decided to leave my property in the back out of fear of theft. As for my partner, everybody thought I would not find one, but I did. Over the last 15 minutes, I got so many calls. We're talking retired legends in town for a geezer convention and even guys from Jakk'd. But in the end, I needed someone I could trust. Right. Andrade makes his way out as we head to commercial break. Segment 11. All right, back from commercial break. Balor's going crazy, beating on Corbin. Balor tags in Ciampa, and Balor quickly tags in Andrade. We see Pete Dunne watching from a screen in the back, as this reminds us that he will be facing Andrade for the title at Indestructible. Ciampa and Andrade going back and forth. Ciampa sees an opportunity to get at Corbin. He rushes him, but Corbin hops off the rope. Andrade attacks Ciampa as his back is turned. He hits a brainbuster, slaps Corbin's back to tag him in. Corbin looks at Andrade very angrily and gets in the ring. Corbin goes for the pin, but Ciampa kicks out. Corbin starts laying in right and left. He stops to taunt, but Ciampa manages to recover and take Corbin down. He then starts to brutally beat Corbin, and Andrade hops in and stops the attack. Balor gets in, goes after Andrade, but the ref stops him, sends him back to his corner. Corbin tags Andrade back in. Andrade goes for the pin, but Ciampa locks in the bridging arm lock. Andrade's screaming in pain. Corbin looks like he's about to get in, but Balor is on the floor, pulls Corbin down, throws him into the barricade as Andrade is forced to tap out. Post-match sees Ciampa and Balor still uneasy about teaming. They stare at each other, then at Corbin, who is now on the top of the ramp. Corbin's smiling. He walks off as we fade to black.
All right. Well, like I said at the top of the show, we're both a little under the weather, so Greg's a little off today, but yeah, all in all, it was a entertaining show building up to the pay-per-views. Like I said, we got one more episode after this left until the next pay-per-views, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, so that's a good Overdrive. Got stuff going on. Corbin's trying to get back into the mix, and all that good stuff. So yeah, and tons of tag teams, man. Like, I didn't even realize how many tag teams you had until you started bringing them all out.
Yeah, I decided to start showcasing them. I'm putting them on the back burner for a minute.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you got to focus on one thing at a time. Especially if you want to get it over, to the extent you do, and it's not watered down. So,
yeah, right.
But all right, on the other side of this next break, I'm going to hit this theme, and we're going to start with Monday Night Jakk'd. Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of Monday Night Jakk'd and good old JR. We're going to see the tag team titles being defended here tonight. Is a rematch from Rage in a Cage, without the hardcore stipulation. It's Demolition and the Dudley Boyz. We're going to see a triple threat match for the television title. Later on, Rob Van Dam defending against Diamond Dallas Page and Jerry Lawler after Jerry Lawler ruined Dallas Page's title shot last week and got involved. We're also going to see Chris Jericho deliver a major announcement later tonight, and so much more right here on Monday Night Jakk'd. All right, we go to the back in the parking lot. A limousine pulls up to the arena, and out steps the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Don Callis runs up to him, and he asks Rick how it feels to know that he's finally going on to Winter Jam to face Hulk Hogan for the Jakk'd heavyweight title. Ric Flair says, Don Callis, what's causing all this? The Nature Boy's in town. He's feeling good. Bret Hart found out last week or what he should have found out 2 weeks ago, that Ric Flair is the greatest of all time. Don Callis says, how do you feel knowing that the man you injured at Rage in a Cage and your opponent at Winter Jam, Hulk Hogan, is going to be here live in the arena tonight? Ric Flair says, Hulk Hogan should have stayed away. He's a hobbled man, and tonight, if he gets within striking distance of me, I'll make sure he doesn't make it to Winter Jam. Woo! And Flair walks off to the locker room while he has people getting out of the limo and taking his bags in for him. All right, segment 2. It is a singles match here. Mr. Perfect makes his way to the ring, and he's taking on the bad guy, Razor Ramon, who's been in between his two best friends, Diesel and Shawn Michaels, for the past about a month now at this time. Yeah, two former AWA guys taking each other on here. These two are very evenly matched, and they have a great back-and-forth match. Razor tries to suplex Mr. Perfect in from the apron, but Mr. Perfect lands on his feet behind Razor, and O'Connor rolls Razor. But Razor kicks him off, sending Mr. Perfect through the ropes into the outside. Mr. Perfect walks over and grabs a ring bell hammer, but the referee is distracted with Razor, and he doesn't see it. Razor leans out to grab Mr. Perfect, and Perfect wraps his fist around the ring bell, and he punches Razor in the face with it, knocking him loopy. The ref does not see this. He's in the wrong position. So Mr. Perfect slides in, and he hits the Perfect Plex on Razor for the win. We go to commercial break right after this. Segment 3, we come back from commercial. Razor Ramon is being interviewed by Armando Alejandro Estrada backstage, who asks Razor what his next steps are here in the Main Event Figure Federation. Razor says, you know, man, I'm not making excuses, but I've had a lot on my mind, Chico, about one of my best friends who was laid up in bed for weeks. Now I was worried about the mental state of my other best friend. Now I've got both of my best friends attacking each other. Just then, Diesel walks past Razor, and Razor grabs him by the arm, and he tries to talk to Diesel, but Diesel just stares blankly at him before he shakes his head and smiles at him. He says, Razor, no offense, bud, stay the hell out of my business. Diesel lightly shoves Razor back as Shawn Michaels quickly runs up behind Diesel, and he jumps him. They start beating away at each other through the hallways, and the referees and Razor all get between them and shove them apart. All right, segment 4 here. We're back at the ringside. Mankind comes to the ring. He rolls inside, rocks back and forth in the corner while he grabs a microphone. He says, since I can't get my hands on The Undertaker, I guess I'll do the next best thing. I'm reinstituting the Mankind Hardcore Open Challenge, and I'm calling out anyone who wants to have not such a nice day. After a few moments, we hear... It's Doink the Clown. And remember the rule here on Jakk'd, because he is not on the roster. The rule is, if he beats Mankind, he'll take Mankind's roster spot. Mankind smiles like a crazy person as Doink makes his way to the ring with a bucket in his hands. When they start the match, they start brawling. Doink takes the bucket and he turns it over onto Mankind's head, pouring water all over him. He then punches away at the bucket. They brawl all around ringside and for quite a while, and Doink goes for the whoopee cushion onto the floor off the apron, but Mankind moves and Doink lands on his butt really hard. Mankind takes over and throws Doink into everything outside before he sets up a chair on the announce table and pile drives Doink into it for the pin. After the match, Mankind grabs a mic. Taker, I'm still waiting. And Uncle Paul, I hope you get a nice spot ready in your funeral parlor for The Undertaker's final resting place. Have a nice day. And we go to commercial break. Segment 5 here. And we come back from commercial break and get Chris Jericho comes to the ring, showing off his tiny junior heavyweight title to the crowd and bragging and pointing and saying, "I'm the man, the king of the world." He finally gets in the ring, he grabs a mic, and he says, "Welcome to Monday Night Jericho." As you may know, last week, Jakk'd Commissioner Eric Bischoff booked a one-night tournament to determine who would face me at Winter Jam for my junior heavyweight title. Owen Hart won that tournament, defeating the Dynamite Kid and then Rey Mysterio. So at Winter Jam, you can forget about any tag team titles, forget about the heavyweight title. The junior heavyweight title will yet again take center stage. And what a better way to celebrate Winter Jam than with two Canadians. But that is not the big announcement that Commissioner Bischoff promised you last week that I would have for you. The big, huge, gigantic, monumental announcement I have for all of you is that at Winter Jam, I will be pulling double duty. Not only will I be defending my prestigious junior heavyweight title against Owen Hart, no, but I will also be performing with my band, Fozzy. We will be live in the arena to perform the official theme song for Winter Jam, Burn Me Out. We will actually perform 2 songs that night, so I hope you're all buckled in for the night of your little meaningless lives. On Sunday, December 27th, the King of the World, Chris Jericho, will not only retain his championship against Owen Hart, but I will melt your eardrums with my hard, fast, unfiltered rock. It will truly be a Winter Jam. Jericho tosses the mic aside and poses with his title for a bit before heading to the backstage area. All right. First, from the announce table, the first man stands up and gets in the ring. It's Jerry the King Lawler. Second up, we get...
It's me. It's DDP.
DDP is the next man out. And finally, we get the champion... Rob Van Dam comes out with the TV title around his waist, and we start the match. The 3 men battle it out for a while until Jerry Lawler gets dumped out of the ring. The fight comes down to RVD and DDP for a while. DDP ducks a springboard kick, goes for the diamond cutter, but RVD shoves him off. Lawler punches DDP as he gets shoved into the ropes. Lawler is back in. He takes out RVD and DDP. RVD eventually reverses a whip into the corner, sending Lawler in. He charges into, and Lawler gets up, or ends up dumping RVD outside. DDP hits a discus clothesline on Lawler, signals for the diamond cutter. He lifts Lawler up, but Lawler grabs his tights, pulling him face first into the turnbuckle. When DDP staggers up, a pile driver on him. He pins DDP, but RVD is up top, and he hits a 5-star frog splash on Lawler's back, breaking the pin. And RVD then pins DDP for the 1, 2, 3. RVD retains the TV title. We now go into segment 7, where Rob Van Dam is celebrating with his television title. Behind him, Jerry Lawler and DDP stagger to their feet. Lawler charges at DDP and clotheslines him, taking them both out of the ring. They brawl around the floor as referees rush in to break them up. RVD's staring at them. And all of a sudden, Mr. Perfect runs down. He attacks RVD from behind. RVD drops the title. Mr. Perfect picks it up and blasts RVD in the face with it. He then picks up RVD and hits a perfect plex. He chuckles as the crowd boos. Then he picks up RVD and hits another perfect plex. Some of the referees finally run into the ring. They see what's going on, and they hold him back. And then Mr. Perfect grabs a microphone. He says, "I guess if you want something done around here, you got to break the rules and beat someone up." So that's exactly what I did. Rob, congratulations on managing to hold on to your weak little title reign for so far. by hook or crook. But next week, it all comes to an end. I want my one-on-one match against you, and I'm going to begin a perfect title reign in the perfect segment of television. Mr. Perfect drops a mic, and he leaves the ring smirking the whole way. And we go to commercial break. All right. We come back from commercial break, and standing in the ring is Jakk'd Commissioner Bischoff with a microphone in his hand. He says, to be honest with you, I've had just about enough of Diesel and Shawn Michaels beating each other up all over the arenas. So Diesel, Shawn, get your asses out here. I'm going to put an end to all this. Diesel's theme hits and Big Daddy Cool comes out. Shawn Michaels' theme hits next, and the Heartbreak Kid jogs out. He slides into the ring, and Eric Bischoff stands between them. He says, whoa, whoa, whoa. I didn't call you both out here for another damn Pier 6 brawl. Diesel, what you did last month to Shawn was way too far and uncalled for. However, Shawn, I can't have you causing mayhem in my locker room. There's only one logical end to this, and since Razor Ramon wants to get involved, I'll throw him in there as well. At Winter Jam, it's going to be Big Daddy Cool Diesel versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in a street fight with special guest referee, the bad guy, Razor Ramon. As far as I'm concerned, you both can tear each other apart in that match. Hell, tear Razor apart for all I care. But if either one of you so much as even breathes on the other one between right now and that match, you're fired. You can go work on Overdrive. You understand? Now get the hell out of my ring. After Bischoff lays down the law, he walks to the back, leaving Diesel and Shawn to glare at each other. Diesel cracks his knuckles and Shawn trash talks him, and they're both escorted to the back by referees and security. All right. Segment 9 here. Only got 3 more to go.
A quick disclaimer that you're going to get different audio quality with this segment right here because I had to re-record it a different way due to audio technical difficulties. Backstage, Don Callis is standing by with the British Bulldogs. Callis asks who they would prefer to win tonight's tag team title rematch between Demolition and the Dudleys. Davey Boy takes most of the interview time explaining that whoever it is, they know that it will be a big, bruising, hard-hitting tag team, so they're prepared either way. Just then, Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman, the Hollywood Blondes, walk up and clap the Bulldogs on their shoulders, smiling. Flying Brian says, well, 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 if it isn't the one-win Bulldogs. Aren't you two a sight for sore eyes? Reuniting here in the Main Event Figure Federation. Reunited, and it feels so good. Isn't that right, Steve? Stunning Steve says, absolutely, Brian. But hey, congratulations on your one win back at Rage in a Cage. That was some good stuff. Loved it. But you know what tag team wasn't included in that 3-way match? Do you remember, Brian? And Flying Brian says, Steve, I think it was the Hollywood Blondes who were conspicuous by their absence. It was us. And Stunning Steve says, that's right. So Bulldogs, you may have beaten some crappy French losers and the old age in-laws, but you ain't never beat the Hollywood Blondes, and you ain't never gonna beat the Hollywood Blondes. As far as we're concerned, your match at Winter Jam is a sham. Dynamite Kid says, well, I say that if you two are so bloody confident, why don't you step up and face us? We've got nothing set up for next week. Davey Boy and I sure would love a warm-up for Winter Jam. Isn't that right, Davey? Davey Boy says, I tend to agree with you, Dynamite. We can even go clear it with Commissioner Bischoff ourselves. Next week, we'll take you blokes on, and to make it even more interesting, how about if you beat us, you take our spot as number 1 contenders for the tag team titles. The Blondes smile and shake hands with the Bulldogs, and both teams go their separate ways.
Segment 10 here. It's our main event of the evening. First we get... The challengers. With Paul Heyman, it's Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudley Boyz. And their opponents, the Jakk'd Tag-Team Champions of the World, Demolition. These two teams beat the crap out of each other yet again, just like at Rage in a Cage, but without weapons. At one point, Paul Heyman distracts the referee so Devon can smack Axe in the back with a chair, but he pulls it back again, and Smash takes the chair out of Devon's hand, rears back, and he blasts Devon in the face, dropping him. Bubba Ray runs in and also gets a chair to the face before Smash tosses it out. Demolition picks up Bubba Ray and throws him into Paul Heyman on the apron, knocking Paul down into a heap on the floor and dropping Bubba Ray as well when they knocked heads. Smash hits a backbreaker on Devon, and Axe leaps off the second rope for the decapitator. Axe then pins Devon for the win and to retain the Jakk'd Tag Team titles. Your winners, Demolition. And after this, we go to our final segment of the night, segment 11. It's going to be Hulk Hogan is here, ladies and gentlemen. The man who will face Ric Flair for the heavyweight title at Winter Jam is going to be here in the arena for segment 11. For the first time since Rage in a Cage, we hear Real American Hit, and the crowd blows. Hulk Hogan comes to the ring on crutches, with his right leg still wrapped up. The ring announcer helps Hogan into the ring, and he hands him a mic. Hogan says, "Well, let me tell you something, Hulkamaniacs. I honestly thought that my cage match with The Rock at Rage in a Cage would be the hardest thing that I had to endure that night. But after that match, I got attacked by Ric Flair with a steel chair. He was counting his chickens before they hatched and trying to soften me up for if he ended up winning his bracket of the tournament. Well, he did, and he hobbled me in the process. But the doctors all tell me that I'll be ready to go for Winter Jam. That means Nature Boy, that the Hulkster, will be all ready to go drop this big leg all over your face in the main event." But as he's talking and the crowd is cheering, he gets interrupted by Ric Flair's theme hits, and he struts out to the ring smiling. He's in a custom-made Armani suit. He grabs a microphone. He's looking Hogan up and down while he smiles. He says, "Hogan, you look a little worse for wear. Despite what the doctors may have told you, you're not going to be 100% when you take me on in 2 weeks. There's no chance. And to make sure of it, I think that I'll give you a matching left leg for your right leg." But before Flair can do anything, we hear the man who does this and that. It's Sting's theme hits, and he runs to the ring. He grabs another microphone. He stands between Flair and Hogan. He says, "Rick, you're not going to lay one finger on the Hulkster. No offense, Hulk, but this isn't about you. Flair, you've been running around here like you're the top dog, and you ain't done nothing to earn that right other than jump people from behind, use your usual tricks to cheat people out of matches. So whatever happens in 2 weeks, I want you to know that I'll be waiting in the wings to get my hands on you." And as they're glaring at each other, we get Kurt Angle's theme hits, and everybody looks confused. They look up the ramp as an angry-looking wrestling cyborg makes his way to the ring and grabs the microphone. He says, "Stinger, if anybody should be pissed off, it should be me. You want to talk about being cheated out of a win? Flair drove my head into a steel turnbuckle and stole my chance at the heavyweight title. So if you want to get your hands on the Nature Boy, take a number." And after he says this, we get it's the Hitman. Bret Hart comes out now, not to be outdone. He grabs a microphone, and he says, "Oh, wah, wah, wah. All I hear is crying and whining and junk measuring out here. Neither one of you morons have a claim. Rick, you know that last week's match could have gone either way. And past that match shouldn't have even happened. I had you beat 2 weeks ago, and you know it. So with all due respect to Sting and Kurt Angle, you both need to get in line behind me, because after Winter Jam, the Nature Boy is all mine. A four-way argument breaks out between Flair, Hart, and Sting and Angle. Flair pie faces Sting, and Sting hauls off on Flair with a right hand. Brett punches Angle in the face, and all four men start brawling. Hogan just kind of rolls out of the ring, and he stands at ringside watching the brawl go down while hopping on his crutches. Security hits the ring now, trying to pull all four men apart as we close the show. All right, another episode of Jakk'd down.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of lost my shit when Doink came out. What the fuck? I'm like, what the hell? That was the most random thing ever.
Yep. Well, I was like, I need a random guy to go out there and just lose to Mankind, and I was like, Doink would be awesome. And for all of you that don't know the rules, you haven't brushed up on the rules, we do have to own the figures. I can only use Jack specific. Greg uses Mattel. I do have a Jack specific Doink, so I will even post a picture of it just to prove it. Man. Come on, wouldn't you want to see Doink versus Mankind in a hardcore match?
Yeah, that's got WrestleMania written all over it.
That seems like something you'd see back in the Attitude Era. I mean, come on.
1995, maybe.
Hell no, they'd bring him back in the Attitude Era just for a one night beating in a hardcore match.
Didn't he have a beating in ECW in a hardcore match?
I don't know. Probably. I know Matt Bourne was there, still wearing his Doink attire.
I can't believe you whipped out Doink.
Oh yeah, he's my secret weapon, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, gotta get like you said, a little comedy in there, and then I have the four-way brawl at the end with the big time stars. And Hogan didn't pose, but Hogan must hobble.
Sting did this and that, and we're gonna get a live show. That's great.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's the main reason. I mean, besides the fact that I can have a bunch of other fun with Chris Jericho's champion, but that's the main reason why I wanted to make Jericho my champion, because I was like, well, at Winter Jam, I can have a live concert. So, and no, I obviously don't own Fozzy figures, but, I think we can use a little bit of imagination with that.
I have 4 Jerichos you could use as a Fozzy Jericho.
Yeah, right.
Burn Me Out's one of their better songs, I think, too. People don't know about.
Yeah, people sleep on that one. So, I mean, there you go. Burn and Winter, and I'm getting all the references in there. So it'll. Doink.
That's gonna live with me for a while. You have no idea how much I lost it, by the way.
I was wondering about. I was like, should I have? Because I was planning on doing Doink, and I was like, should I whip it out now? And I'm like, yeah, go for it,
dude. Whip it out always.
Bring out the clowns. But yeah, so it's going to be. You were a little more serious this week. I think I had some joke stuff in there, but I don't know. The Doink thing is going to take the cake.
Yeah, definitely.
So, all right, man. Well, there's another Monday Night War down. Everybody, this is posting on the 14th. This coming Wednesday on the 16th. On the main event marks, we're going to be reviewing Starrcade 1996. Next Monday on the 21st, we're going to do our go-home show before Indestructible and Winter Jam. So, yeah, look out for that. It's the final stop where you can catch up before the pay-per-views. But anything to add before we sign off here?
Yeah, more Doink.
Well, he lost, so he's not going to be back. So.
I don't have a Doink figure, so I won't ever be able to have him. That sucks.
Oh, man. We should have choreographed that. That would have been a great gimmick. Right. Like Doink just keeps popping up on both shows trying to get a job like he's Heath Slater. Look,
I think if we do that, we can do it with someone way better, actually. But
look, he has little clowns. He needs this job.
Dink, Wink, and Pink. Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. And I'm sure somewhere in there's a Stink.
Man.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, all right, man. We'll see you all this Wednesday for Main Event Marks, and next Monday for the go-home episode of the Monday Night Wars here on the Main Event Figure Federation.